Hello and welcome to today's show with Dr. Janette. In this program, Dr. Janette shares with the audience ways to develop their inner skills for outer results. With its meditation, visualization, affirmations, and more, you'll learn something today to help you live happier, healthier, and more satisfying lives by working your inner game now. Welcome, Dr. Janette.
Hello, I'm so excited you are joining me today, and I've got a great show for us today. Today we're going to look at some more ideas about the healing mindset. And as you know, on this show, we talk about the inner principles for outer results. And what's wonderful now as people are having different experiences, let's say in sickness or getting diagnoses that are troublesome for them. Now, people are really taking their healing in their own hands, like we saw a couple of weeks ago with one of our guests. And people are putting to use some of these inner principles that they're learning, whether it be mindset or meditation and faith, and looking at how they can participate with their medical professionals in creating healing. And so that's such a wonderful thing to start to hear from people and hear their stories of their own healing and how they put to use some of these inner principles to transform their inner world and find and see the results in their outer world. So I love bringing people's stories to you so that we can begin to see how this is happening all over the place and people are having wonderful stories. So I am excited today to bring to you a really special woman that is joining us today on the show, and she has had a wonderful experience of healing in her own personal life, where she had, that story where, nobody wants to hear, where the doctor all of a sudden says, you have cancer, the big C word. And so this happened for her immediately. She wasn't even sick, and I'll let her tell you all about it. And all of a sudden, the doctor's saying 4th stage liver cancer. Really? So the great thing about her is that she actually has been a practitioner of spiritual principles and faith teachings and has had a lifetime of that. And so here she was really put to the test. She's been a minister for 4 years in a center in Fresno called the Spiritual Life Center. And I've known her personally for many, many years as I was in ministry, and she was with me, and she was partnering with me in so many ways. And I always had great things to say about her, because if somebody was sick, I say, go see Reverend Kathy, because Reverend Kathy handles that. She doesn't put up with any bull. Like, she knows her principles. She speaks her principle. I remember when my daughter was giving birth and there was a problem with the birth, we all just says, call Reverend Kathy. She's going to do a spiritual mind prayer, and we knew it would be all better when she got to it. So this is the kind of person she is, and over her life in raising children and serving and volunteering and being an active part of people's healing and health, she has demonstrated the principles. So it's like we can teach these principles in our lives, we teach them to others, but just a couple of years ago she was faced with, oh my gosh, this is happening, and her journey is fascinating. I want to hear all about it. I know you want to hear all about it. So let's bring and welcome Reverend Kathy Landis, who's the spiritual leader of the Spiritual Life Center, and my dear, dear friend. Welcome to the show. I'm glad we finally get to publicize this story in the way that it deserves and tell the story. So tell the audience a little bit about what happened, first of all.
Right. So it was Christmas in 2015, and I was feeling a little bit tired, but I thought, oh my gosh, I have so much on my plate. Right. Of course I'm tired.
Of course you're tired. It's Christmas.
Yes, it was Christmas. We were moving our church to a new location, painting the walls, moving the furniture, doing all of those things that needed to be done, plus Christmas. And so I just was a little tired, and then I thought, well, maybe I had a bowel obstruction. So I called the doctor just after the first of the year, got in to see him, and he sent me for a CT scan. So I went for the scan, when I went back, he said, tell her on the phone that I had cancer.
You overheard? He's talking to her, and you overhear it?
I overheard it.
You're like, can I hear that again? I'm
What?
not sure. Yeah.
And so, at any rate, I ended up having surgery. I had a 6-inch growth in the uterus, a 5-inch growth on the intestines, and a lesion on the liver. So I went and had surgery. I had it on a Thursday, missed church on Sunday. The following week, I was back at church doing the service. I had to sit down for the service, but I was back.
Oh, well.
That's right. So anyway, in 2 weeks from the surgery date, I had another CT scan so that they could send the results to the oncologist. I went to the oncologist a few days later, and he said, okay, we need to start chemo tomorrow. And tomorrow was a Thursday, and I said, no, we can start on Monday. And he said, you don't understand. You have 4th stage liver cancer. And I said, you don't understand. I need to do the talk at church on Sunday.
Your people are so lucky, I'm just saying.
So I said, I'll start on Monday. And so we started on Monday. So every 3 weeks I would have a treatment. I was never sick.
Really?
Ever. Because I decided that I wasn't going to be sick. And every time I had chemo, I would do a prayer and hold on to that bag and say, okay, just bear with me. We're going to do a prayer in this bag.
You're blessing,
I was blessing the chemo so that it would only do what needed to be done
Without
and
the
that I
sickness.
would not be sick. And I was not sick. So,
Oh, that's awesome.
yeah, it was really good. Because
So you didn't know, like, when I think of chemo, I think lose your hair and you're sick. Now, I did know you lose your hair.
I did lose my hair.
But that's so awesome that you just didn't take exactly what they told you was going to happen and said, no.
That's right. I just said, no, I am not going to be sick. I have things to do. I have places to go. I have people to take care of. And I am not going to be sick. Done. I am not.
Okay, then. Don't mess with her. I told you. Don't mess with her.
Yeah. So that was the one thing that happened that I was fine. I had nothing. And I had to go for a shot, for an immune shot for that really strong chemo. And so I went for the shot, and the nurse said, oh, she said, did you take the antihistamines and the Advil? And I said, by the time I got home, I was not feeling well. And the next day, I woke up with what I thought was the worst arthritis ever. My bones hurt, my hands hurt, every bone ached. I couldn't open a lid, I could hardly pick anything up. And I was having just a reaction to that shot. And so I realized, seriously, I do this, I talk about this, but it took me a while to actually realize what I needed to do for this. So the following day, I remembered. We all forget, but I forgot, and then I remembered.
Right? I forget. I remember.
That's right.
I remember.
It's the motto.
It's the name of the game.
It's
here.
the name of the game. So I remembered that when you put your attention on something, when you focus on what's not working, that you just increase what's not working. It just makes it more and more and more. So I thought, okay, I'm going to shift my attention. This part of my arm feels just fine. I'm going to focus on the part that feels fine, because really it was one of the few parts that I could find that felt fine.
So the rest of your body's in a lot of pain. It
hurt.
But this felt good.
Yes.
It was not
Yes.
a problem.
This one,
so that,
this
you
part was
found
fine.
the part that was
Yeah.
okay. Love that.
And I focused on that,
great.
and instantly, I mean, not in a little while, right away, at least half of the pain was gone.
Wow.
just shifting my energy to what was working and to what felt good.
Right.
So I shifted that energy, and I decided also that I was never having this again. I was never going to have these side effects, that this was it. Okay, I was suffering this time, but this was it. The next time I had to have this, no, I knew better. So from that point on, I never had that aching again.
With the same treatment?
With exactly the same treatment. I decided no, I was not having that. I was not doing that again. I didn't need to do it. It wasn't, no. Done. Okay.
I'm not having that problem again.
That's right. I had it, I've done it, I've experienced it, and I'm over it. I'm done.
Now, what happened the next time you went in for that treatment? Did you do like a little visualization, or did you just?
I simply decided
yeah,
that I was not having those side effects. Now, I did do the things that they said.
Yeah.
I took the antihistamine, I took the Advil, but I never had that bone aching, horrible,
Right.
ucky feeling
Right.
ever again. I never had that. And I continued not to be sick. Mm-hmm.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So there's a huge lesson right there.
Right.
Right. Like focus what you focus on.
Shifting your energy and shifting your attention is huge, because what we do, we
Right.
focus on what's not working. It's our nature.
It is our nature, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's so much our nature that when something's going wrong, we're focusing on that. We focus on what hurts.
Right.
We don't focus
Right.
on what's going great.
Right.
But what a wonderful idea. Whether someone's got cancer, whether someone's sick, whether someone's
Right.
healthy, whether someone's having a challenge with relationships or with
Right.
any part of life, our natural tendency is to look at what's going wrong. But I bet right now we can all find something that's absolutely going right,
Right.
that we can focus on no
Right.
matter what.
Right. And that's the thing. In any situation,
Right.
something is right. Something is working. And if you shift how you're looking at it, you also shift the focus to what works.
Right.
And when you do that, it changes your life. It changes the situation, but it can be life-changing.
Right.
So that's what we want to do. We want to shift that focus.
I love that.
Mhm.
That is
Me too.
great.
Yeah.
That's good. So, what are some other things that you learned on that journey, and what else
Well,
took place?
one of the things that I learned was to shift what I was saying to myself. So I don't want to. I do not tell my story as a regular event. That is not what I do. I don't do that.
Tell me what you mean by that.
I don't tell that I had cancer and I had all this situation going. I don't, because that's part of the story. That's part of a story that wasn't working. Okay, I shift to what you can do that is working, what you can do that makes you strong, what you can do that changes your life, what you can do that is better than telling the old story of I was sick, I was tired, I didn't feel good,
Right.
it didn't work. No. I am well, I am better every day, I am healthier every day. I don't have all of this. I am well.
Right.
So then so at the end of the chemo treatments, the doctor told me that I was going to be on chemo for life, that every month they were going to do chemo for the rest of my life. And I said, no, that is not what I have in mind.
That is not for me.
That's right. I am not going to do that. No, I am not doing that.
You are a rebel.
Yes. But
are.
you have to be. You can be a victim or you can be an agent for
Right.
change.
Right.
So take your choice.
Right. You almost have to be.
You have to.
To have that kind of rebellious spirit. That's like,
Right.
I'm not just going to
Buy in.
accept and buy into this old condition,
Right.
this condition, this mindset, and this
Right. Right.
diagnosis,
Right.
and exactly what they say is going to happen.
That's
'Cause
right.
yeah.
So my sister had found that there was a sarcoma center at UCLA. And so I called them, and they invited me down, they talked to me, and so on and so forth, and decided that perhaps stereotactic radial surgery would work on this, and that they would, and I'm not sure if I told you that by the time I got to the oncologist, I had a 2-inch growth that had come back in the 2 weeks and a second lesion on the liver. Well, they had to do something with that. Chemo had shrunk them way down, but it was still there. And so they did the stereotactic radiosurgery, and the radiologist said, sometimes this just puts off chemo. And sometimes, we don't know why, but sometimes you never have to have anything again. And I said, that's for me. I'm choosing that.
That's the one I want. The one that says no more chemo.
That's the one I want.
Choice.
That's my choice. So it's been 2 years, and I started out every 4 months having to have, actually it was every 3 months, having to have another PET CT. And they're doing it every 6 months now, and then next year they're going to switch to once a year, and then done at 5 years. But I have had nothing since then. That's been awesome. Gone. Yeah.
Yes, that's awesome.
So it's
that's
good.
Beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So,
right.
But you have to shift what you say to yourself.
Right.
So you have to have some belief that things can be different. And Ernest Holmes said that if we can believe 51%, that 51% will drag the other 49 with it.
I love that.
I do too, because
who can do 100%?
That's right.
Nobody can do 100%.
There's so much fear attached to cancer.
Right.
And every place you look, there's somebody that's dying.
Right.
And so you do not want to be hooked up with the dead and dying. You want to be hooked up with what works.
With the living.
Yeah. And so anybody could believe that 51% can happen. So I knew that I could believe 51%. Even though I have all of these strong beliefs, you still have that fear oozes in.
Right.
And you still, you get a symptom of something and you think, oh my gosh, it's back. Because it started out as nothing. Yeah. You just were a little tired. Seriously, that's how it started. So one of our problems is that we think that we're unworthy of healing. So in Matthew 8, and this is one of my favorite parts of the Bible, in Matthew 8, the centurion came to Jesus and he said, my servant is ill. Could you heal my servant? And Jesus said, show me where your servant is. And he said, Lord, I am not worthy that you should enter under my roof. Say but the word, and my servant shall be healed. And so Jesus said that he had so much faith that his servant was healed. And that's what we need to remember. The part we remember is, Lord, I am not worthy. That's the part we remember, because the mind goes to the most negative, and it hooks onto that, and it stays there. And we all have this idea that we're not worthy of healing, that we're not worthy, that we're paying for our sins. We're paying for not living a good enough life. We're paying for not doing it right. That we're never good enough. But that's not the truth.
Right.
That is not the truth. Because immediately it says in the Bible that within the hour the servant was healed. But we forget that. We remember, Lord, I am not worthy. No, within the hour the servant was healed. Within the hour the servant was healed. And next week I am starting a class on healing. And it's at 2:00 in the afternoon, and you can go to my website and hook into that. And if you're available in the daytime, come to it.
Good.
I'm not going to try and convert you. I'm not going to do any of those things. But we're seriously going to talk about healing and about what healing takes. What does it take to heal, to be healed? First of all, you have to change what you believe.
Right.
And you have to believe that you're worthy.
Right.
And that you are not being punished for your sins. Believe that it's possible. Believe that healing is possible. And that's the truth about you. You are God's perfect child. You are a child of God. Believe that healing is possible. And it doesn't matter in what area of your life. It can be in prosperity. It can be in health. It can be in family relationships. It can be in seeking a relationship. Whatever it is, it's possible to heal. You can heal that. But you need to start working with some of the tools.
I love that. That idea of really looking at our belief systems around worthiness. I know in the people that I worked with that's such a core human belief system that we've hooked into, is that of our unworthiness, of our need to be saved, of our need to be, something else, perfect. And that if we could just do it better, if we could just do more, if we could just, and so there's underneath this, our willingness to accept healing, our willingness to accept the good in life is that, well, if I did more, maybe I'd be worthy, or if I was a little bit different, maybe I'd be worthy, or some belief system of what I needed to do and be. But I love that you laid that down, because that is such a core belief that plays into so many things, is our worthiness of our ability to heal. Yeah, that's good. The other thing you said, I'd like you to say a little bit more about this, is in talking about your condition or accepting this condition. One of the things that I personally notice is that a lot of us who have some sort of a condition, we start to identify it and we make it ours. It becomes our identity, and then we live out that identity. And when we make an identity out of it, we can't heal it. So many times I've heard, I have cancer. My cancer. Like it's like my best friend, and I'm going to take good care of it, and it's my cancer.
We take ownership of what doesn't work.
Right.
So one of the things we have to do, and that's part of letting go of the story. That's the story. That does not belong to me. Let go of what's not working in your life. Don't own it. Don't retell to everyone that will listen the parts of your life that don't work. Do not keep telling them about it. Don't own it. So if you are talking about cancer, it's so easy, because everybody you hear says, mine. I own this. No, I don't own it. I am releasing it. I don't own strife and discord. I am letting that go.
It's like I have the experience of it, or this is happening, but it's moving through. It's not mine. Like I'm going to hold it on to me.
And I'm learning the lessons from it. I learned the lessons. There are important lessons to learn. So I got to practice what I preach.
Yeah.
I can do healing for lots of people. I started this years ago.
Yeah.
But for myself, it's a whole different bag, because you're the one that's also carrying the fear. You're the one that's carrying the need. You're the one that's not quite doing it. And so you got to let go of what's not working. And you can't own the story. You can't own the condition. You got to release the condition. That condition is not you. It does not define you. It is not the truth about you. It is not yours. So let go of the condition. Do not say, I am, or I have, and attach it to
never
your
say those words. What you don't want.
No.
Commercial break. Do not say, I am sick.
I am
Right.
anything that is negative.
Yeah,
No.
I'm doing online series, and I'm just so passionate about that idea of online, not online, but of I am.
That's
like
right.
what is following our I ams? What are
right.
we saying? And so many times in people's sickness, that's exactly what they're doing. Is it's like I am this. This is
That's
who
right.
I am, and we're taking, that powerful presence of God, that powerful universal presence, and we're saying.
All the negative stuff with
Go
it.
ahead, God, create
Eat
it for
me.
me. Just make it. Make it for me. Create it.
Yeah,
So,
kill me with it.
Kill me with it now. One of the things I remember about Kathy was that when this first happened to her, you didn't really talk about it.
No, I
you
didn't. No.
talk about it, and
I didn't talk about it until I was better.
yeah, you kind of
Because
kept it. You
that's
didn't
right.
want it all out there, like everybody adding their negativity to it.
And I would never say it was 4th stage liver cancer or any
Right.
of that, because people start burying you. And it's, seriously,
Right.
everybody, that you can't get that out of somebody's mind. So when you claim that, and when you say, I am so sick, or I have this so much that's incurable, that there's no hope for, when somebody tells you 4th stage, that means bye-bye. And so you don't want everybody else to hold that consciousness for you, that you are going, that you're toast, that you're going to be dead by breakfast. No, I didn't want them to start looking for a new minister for my church.
Right, exactly. You're like, hey, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not telling you all this.
That's right.
That's
so
funny.
I did not tell them the story until I started having hair and I could take off the wig.
Really? Oh
Yeah,
my gosh.
it was almost a year. It was a year, because a year after I had surgery, I said to the oncologist, I said, so what are the lesions on the liver that they're watching? And he said, in your case, it's scar tissue. And so that was when I told people at church that this is what I had, but I had it, and I have gotten finished with it. I am done with it. I got through it, and I don't have it any longer. And
That's amazing.
that's the deal. That's why you don't want to own it.
Right. Right. Well, I think I'm pretty excited hearing Kathy's story, and I love that idea of not really owning this condition. We're going to take a break in a minute here, and when we come back, we'll hear some more how-tos, how it is that we can apply some of these principles in our life, no matter what's going on, whether it's for healing or whether it's for money or whether we just want to feel better or relationships. All these things are amazing principle-based teachings that Kathy teaches on a regular basis, as I do and others. So we'll take a quick little break, and we'll be right back. All right, we're back here with Reverend Kathy Landis, and I'm Janette Freeman talking about the inner principles for outer results. And today we're talking about the healing mindset, and we're listening to as Kathy is sharing her amazing story of healing from 4th stage liver cancer, and through her practices of mind and spirit, and what are some of the things that has made such a big difference. So I've loved talking to you, and I think when we were leaving off to go to the commercial break, we were talking a little bit about identity and what we talk about. And
Right.
I just want you to say more about that, because it's so important, and we underestimate the importance of the little things. I always say it's the little things that cause us the biggest results. It's the little things that actually, cause us the big problems as well. And it's the little things that done repetitively and done on a daily basis make a big change over a lifetime. And one of those little things, I believe, is the self-talk that's going on, and the affirmations, and our real decision to just tilt or shift our attention. I think to the man, woman, to the person who learns to direct his attention, all things are possible.
Right. I think that's true. Right. So instead of focusing on what doesn't work
Yeah.
and what's not healthy about you, what's not working about you, focus on what is. Everybody has something in their lives that's working.
Right.
Everybody has something that they can do that is positive. So don't focus on the negative and don't focus on what doesn't work. Focus on what does, because each one of us is gifted. Each one of us has gifts that are blessings in our lives. Focus on your blessings. Focus on what you're thankful for.
Right.
Focus on what's good. And that will make a shift and a change in your whole life if you can just focus on what's working.
Well, and we also know that when we focus on what's good and focus on what's working, it immediately changes our body chemistry. It immediately starts wiring the brain in a way that starts doing that again and again and again. It immediately starts telling the body to produce those happy hormones.
Right.
It immediately turns the body into a body that heals better,
Right.
you know, because
That's right.
everything's, I love that science is now telling us that what's happening in the brain and how our repetitive thoughts and our repetitive
Right.
attention is causing a shift in the brain. It's rewiring the brain, and that rewired brain in turn begins to cause new perceptions for us to have. So when we're not having those experiences, some part of us has got to wake up and go, I am freaking going to do this differently.
Right.
I'm going to move in a new direction. I'm going to have some new programming, and I'm going to train the body how to feel better. So we know that a body is going to be have a greater healing capacity.
Right. Exactly.
Have a greater healing capacity when it's in a relaxed state.
Right.
You know?
And when it's happy.
And when it's happy, when it's in a relaxed state, when it's happy, now all the things that need to happen can happen.
together.
I mean, don't you think? I mean, let's talk about this. I bet you believe this, is that the innate nature of the body, the innate intelligence of the body, it is so miraculous. I don't understand it, but if you start thinking about how this brain is working and this heart and all the things working in such harmony and it's so perfect, and then we have something like that goes on, but underneath that is still there's this perfect body and this perfect intelligence and how So I think exactly all these things that you're talking about, really you're talking about getting your head out of the way, your little self out of the way, your old beliefs out of the way, in order to let the body do its healing process and practice.
So you want to get your negative thoughts out of the way.
Yeah.
And in order to get your negative thoughts out of the way, you better have some positive ones. So find some positive ones. You have them. They're in everybody's life. What I do is I am healthy, whole, and perfect. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. And it was my mantra. I would hang on to that. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. And I would say it over and over again. And whenever I doubted, and we all doubt, whenever I doubted, I would go back to that. I am healthy, whole, and perfect. I am well. I am healed. I am healing. I am well. But just keep that positive thought, those positive thoughts. And the body responds. Yeah. The mind responds. The mind will do what we tell it to do. And so keep telling yourself the good things that you want. Repeat them over again. When you're feeling weak, change that and say, no, I am healthy, I am well, I am getting better every day, I am love, I am loved, I am prosperous, everything is good. Everything is good.
And I think that phrase, right, that you did so many times.
Right.
Say it again. I am healthy, whole, and complete.
I am healthy, whole, and perfect. I am healthy, whole, and complete.
That's one of the things that I find, if people will make a decision, what is that phrase? Right. And say it so many times. Right. And that way, when you don't feel healthy, when you need it the most, you've said it so many times that you have this wiring you can pull from it. And I feel like it's more important to have one or two
That's right.
little short ones that
That's
you
right.
can say that will immediately cause you to have a different state of emotional state
Right.
through saying those little things again and again. A lot of times we won't pull it. It won't pull it if we haven't done it before.
No.
A lot.
That's right. If you haven't had some practice at it, you're not going to remember it.
Right.
Because I had practice, and it took me a day to remember.
Right.
And I was a practicer. So,
Right.
so you have to have a toolbox.
Yes.
And you have to have some little things in the toolbox that will make a difference. I am healthy, whole, and well. Just saying it over and over again. When you feel horrible, say, I am healthy, whole, and well, until you begin to believe it. And that's important. Say it till you believe it. Say it until the busy mind stops laughing at you. Say it as often as you need to until you shift and begin to believe that that's the truth, that that's your truth.
Yeah.
Just keep repeating it.
I love that. Right. Yeah, I think that's more important than we really
It's
we
very
really
important.
realize. I remember times when I've wanted to go through a change. It's like, get yourself a phrase.
That's right.
Get yourself a phrase that you can come back to again and again and again and again. And pretty soon, if you say it enough, now it becomes your friend and it
That's
will pull
right.
you back. Yeah. Yeah. So that's
Not only
great.
that, when you're low, it'll pull you back up.
Right.
So it's not just that oh yeah, I remember. No. When you're feeling really bad, you go, oh that. Okay, well I could say that.
Right.
Even if I don't believe it right now, I can say it. And just the saying it lifts you up,
Yeah.
lifts you out of
Right.
that.
So I think that is a very important tool, no matter what's going through, is like some sort of an affirmation and as a practice. What would be some other tools or practices that somebody might want to adapt to be able to help them?
Well, I'd say shift your focus. Shift what
Yeah.
you're looking at.
Right.
So
right.
that's an important one.
Gratitude.
Yeah, be grateful. That when we are grateful about something, our whole consciousness lifts up. So gratitude is really important in your life. If everything looks like it's going to hell in a handcart, there is something that works, and be grateful for the things that work. Be grateful for that person that said hello to you. Be grateful for somebody who let you go first. Be grateful for somebody that opened the door for you. And some days the only thing you can be grateful for is that the sun came out today. That's okay.
And
Be
you're
grateful for
breathing.
that. And you're breathing. That's right.
Right.
Be grateful for that. And then, change what you believe is possible. Change it. What do you believe is possible? Do you believe healing is possible? Do you believe that you can feel better? Do you believe that life can give you something better than this? What is it
Right.
you believe?
That's another good point, is exposing yourself to other people who have had healings.
That's right.
Reading stories of people that have had healings versus, because there's a lot of scary material on the internet,
Right.
and a lot of people I know, it's like you can get all kinds of information
Right.
on the internet and you can Google it, and then you can hear all kinds of horrible stories, and you can
Right.
get even worse because you're focusing on that.
On the horrible.
On the horrible.
That's right.
And so if you want to be able to switch your belief system, which we do, we want to
Right.
know. Like, I think I love reading inspiring stories.
Right.
And somebody that overcomes and somebody that experiences, greater success or anything that I want to experience. I want to read about other people because that builds my faith of that,
Right.
it is possible. If it's
Right.
possible for them, maybe it's possible for
That's
me.
right.
So in a healing aspect, I would think that would be very
Right.
important. Let's, to
It's
pay
really
attention
important.
so you can develop that belief system. Yeah.
It's really important because we want to believe, but we're so afraid.
Yeah.
That we're always afraid. Fear is a constant companion. If things aren't going well, fear makes it even worse. false evidence appearing real is so big.
Yeah.
And we want to minimize that. So we want to shift and say, no, I choose not to believe that. That is not the truth about me. I am going to believe something else.
Right.
And choose, what is it you're going to believe? What's possible for you?
Right.
What is it?
Right.
You know? And then, are you worthy?
Yeah.
Of course you are. Yes, you are worthy. You are worthy of healing. You are worthy of, you don't need to be the sinner. You don't need to be that person that's suffering for all of the things that ever happened, or for all of the mistakes that you might have made in your life.
And don't you think that so many times is completely unconscious?
Oh, it's
I mean,
absolutely
it's always
unconscious.
Yeah, like
absolutely.
Like the self-punishing,
Right.
and I think that's, I mean, talk about what you think about this, but I think that's something that whenever we're experiencing any kind of pain in the body or something, is to really ask, is there any part of me that's trying to punish myself? Mm-hmm. Like, is there any part of me that thinks I deserve a good slashing or something,
Right. Because a lot of times we have these beliefs that we've carried with us from childhood, that whether it was a church that we were at, where the priest or the minister said, people are being punished for their sins,
right.
that you have to do penance, mm-hmm. that you're not worthy, you're not good enough, you're not enough. No. But those things where somebody tells us, that's right. And so they say that for every one negative thing you hear, that you have to hear like 10 positive things before it dislodges that one negative thing. And they did a study, and by the time someone's 18, they've heard, like, I think it was almost 200,000 negative beliefs, negative things about themselves. And when studied and asked, they could only name 2 or 3 positive ones.
Wow, yeah.
So if there's that much negativity, how much is it going to take how much do you have to pour in of the positive in order to make a difference?
Right.
How much is that?
Right.
Yikes.
Now, I believe that, the body is a reflection of the mind, and I believe that every part of us is actually really trying to do something for our benefit. Whether it's like even if a part of our body and a part of us is trying to punish us, there's a part of it that thinks that's for our good, right? Like get us to heaven or something, So there's mm-hmm. a part of us that wants to do something for our good. So even in a hard time, I think, by loving our body and maybe listening, what mm-hmm. is it you're trying to do for me, for my benefit, and get the gift. It's like, let's get the gift of the sickness. Let's get the gift of mm-hmm. the mm-hmm. painful emotions. Let's get the gift from the difficult times we have in our life, so that we can learn the lesson, and then we can be able to let it go and move on. Mm-hmm. So did you have any lessons?
Actually, I really did. And so one of the lessons, I mean, the one that I noticed the first was that I was always so independent, and I am the person that takes care of everybody.
Right.
Right. So
I knew this was your lesson. First time you heard me, I'm like, I guess you're going to have to relax and let someone help you.
Right. And that was the deal, that I needed to allow them to help me.
Right.
I needed to not always be the one that did everything. I needed to let my husband fix dinner. I needed to let my kids do stuff that they didn't normally do. I needed that to happen. And that was really a good lesson, because I realized that in not allowing them to do that was their gift to me.
Right.
And that I wasn't allowing them to give me anything because I was so independent. This allowed me, it opened my eyes to where, oh my gosh, they want to do for me. And that is so nice. So that was really the first one.
So that's really good too, and I think that's true for a lot of people that
Right.
go through this. Any kind of a condition where they have to slow down.
Right.
They have to stop or take some rest, and it could just be a cold or the flu, right? But it's kind of like your body says, enough, stop, put it up. You need to lay down, rest, let someone take care of you, love, nurture your body, in order to experience it. I mean, I think that's a lot, of what's called for.
Right.
And I like the saying, everything, it's a call for more love, not less,
Right.
even in that. And so I love that, that you received that gift because you are such a doer for everybody else.
I know.
So it's like, let somebody take care of you.
That's right.
Yes.
Right. So I allowed people to take care of me. I allow, and so it was a gift. I mean, they did all kinds of things for me. They brought me healing. Yes,
They love doing
they
things
did.
for you.
Mm-hmm. They brought me healing things from wherever they were at. All kinds of different things, and they said prayers for me at all kinds of churches and places, and that brought me meals and just did stuff. That was really, really, really nice.
Yeah.
It really was.
So great.
But it was nice to accept that,
That's right.
to recognize that they wanted to do for me,
Right.
and to accept that.
Right.
That was really nice.
Well, and I think that's part of the healing. Like if this is a gift, if the body is giving us a message, if it's a message that the body's actually going to such extremes to give us, maybe we should listen, because if we don't receive the gift in the difficult situations, then we can have it again.
Right. Well, and that's one of the things too. Always look for the what's your lesson here? That there's always a lesson in whatever our situation is. That situation has come up to teach us something. What's the lesson? So when you're having any kind of situation, take a look. What's the lesson here? What am I doing? What is this creating for me? So what can I learn from this? And in accepting healing, simply saying, I got it. I got the lesson. I learned. I've got it. I know this lesson.
Thank you for sharing.
Yes, thank you
for this
That's
beautiful
right.
experience. I got it now.
Right.
You can move on.
Right.
I got the lesson. I love you. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah.
So that was really important too.
So as we're getting ready to close, it's been so wonderful to have Reverend Kathy here on the show and to have these conversations. Let's just summarize, Kathy, maybe 4 things. If someone's
Right.
going through something, 4 things or something that they could just, write down or take with them.
Right, and I'd say, so shift your focus.
Yeah.
Pay attention to that. Shift your focus. Change what it is you say to yourself. Change the words you're using for yourself. Instead of I'm sick, I am healthy. I am getting better. I am well. I am doing better. All of that helps. Then change what you believe is possible. What's possible for you? Change what you believe is possible. And then you are worthy. You are God's precious child, and you are worthy of the kingdom. That the divine wants to give you the kingdom. Accept it. Accept the gift. That's the deal. We want to accept the gift of the kingdom. So be the heir to the kingdom. Be that gracious, grateful heir that says, thank you, God. And so it is.
Oh, it is. Yes. It's beautiful.
There we go.
Awesome. What a great little lesson and a great reminder for us in really learning something and really making a decision in some way to change our attention and be grateful and change our beliefs and, what it was I believe is possible, and really learning to love ourselves in a deeper way. So that's wonderful.
Right.
Now you teach these kind of things all
I
the
do.
time. This
I
is
teach
this
all
is
the
your
time,
this is
so-
your thing.
Right. It's my thing.
It's her thing. It's her thing. She's a
It is.
freaking healer.
That's
this
right.
girl's a healer.
So I teach. We have service on Sunday,
And it's really good, by the way.
Thank you.
You are a good, she's a good speaker. You can
Thank
tell
you.
she is.
So we have service on Sunday at 11 o'clock, and that's at the Spiritual Life Center. And look at our webpage or see us on Facebook, the Spiritual Life Center in Clovis. And then I have class starting next Thursday, so a week from
What's the
today, the 12th
Of
of July.
2017.
Yeah, that's
so when
correct.
someone's watching
Oh,
this
that's
in an
right.
old archive in
That's right.
2021 going, where
When's
is she?
the
Is that
class?
class next Thursday?
That's right. So it's July 12th at 2 o'clock. And so if you would like to come, show up, join us. But you can see more information about it on our website. So go to the website, and it's thespirituallifecenter.com, or show up on Sunday. We'd love to
Awesome.
have you.
Yeah.
We'd be
Awesome.
very welcoming. It's a lovely group.
Yeah,
So
that's wonderful.
It's good.
Kathy's also really good with one-on-ones if you're having a challenge. She's wonderful with doing prayer with you or counseling with you in a wonderful way. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Kathy,
you.
for being here. It's been lots of fun. We've been dear friends for a
Years
million
and
years.
That's right.
On this fantastic journey called life, and I appreciate her so much. And I appreciate you for tuning in today and caring enough about your progress and your path. We're here to continue to inspire and remind each other to cherish our inner world, to turn our attention on the good and on the true, and continually go back to that and let the false ideas fall away, that we can grow in our ability to have greater faith. I teach meditation, and I teach different principles like this as well online in books and CDs that you can go to my website, JanetteFreeman.com, and I'm always adding new meditation CDs and things that you can practice at home when it may be hard for you to do it by yourself. So we want to support you in your journey of awakening and growing. Be sure and sign up on my email list, and you'll receive inspiration to help you on your journey of remembering. So thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, Kathy, for being here on our show and having a conversation. And thank you to you all, and have an amazing day. Make an amazing day and see the amazing in all of life. Bye.